Hello everyone. If you're a fan of collage and you know how to make one and want to learn a new technique, or you don't know how to make one and want to learn any technique, then let's hang out because I just finished making a collage inspired by this book, Mark Hearld, who is a British artist. It took me a day and a half, almost 2 full days, but I finally finished it. And it was a big surprise for me, and maybe it will be for you because I had no idea where this was going. Here is the collage. So the background was inspired by Rex Ray, and the foreground was inspired by Mark Hearld. And when I started it, all I had was a big blank canvas and some papers. So that's what we're going to do. If you'd like to hang out, come on over to the paint table. I'll show you what I've been up to for a couple of days. And I have no idea how long this is going to be because there's a lot of video. It took a long time. However, if you'd like to hang out until the end, then I'll show you how I do the pen work and stuff like that. See ya. Bye. So I've been away for a while because I have responsibilities in the co-op in which I live, and they have taken over my life. But I haven't stopped thinking about art, and today I am completely unprepared, other than the fact that I have a group of papers that I created during a painting session with my friend Cindy that are a single kind of colorway that I haven't even looked through before I started this video. You'd think I'd be better prepared. But anyways, what I've got here are some papers that I printed during one of my in-home art sessions with my friend Cindy. And some of these are so pretty. I'm going to make something with this. I don't know what. My last two videos, here, let me just peel these things apart while I'm talking. My last two videos, I had a plan. I knew I was making something with a bird. I don't have any idea what I'm making. Oh, I've even got colors here. In case anybody cares, I used raw sienna, burnt umber, yellow ochre, some kind of orange, maybe cadmium, and a little bit of black and white. So I'm going to make something with these papers. Oh, some of these are, look at how yummy this is with that little bit of orange, which was so ugly before I put these botanicals on it. And you guys know you can't make ugly botanicals. Well, maybe you can. This one's not so awesome. And this one's not so awesome either. But you know what? None of them are planning on being framed. They're going to be chopped up. So let me show you what I'm going to do it on, which is, I bought this at the, can I see it? It's a big giant, what is this? 12 by 36. I believe it's going to be horizontal. No, I believe it's going to be vertical because I have a place on my wall I may want to hang it. But I bought it for $4.99 at the Goodwill store. And we're going to make some art. So I'm realizing that this is going to cramp my style if I try to work on it vertically. So change of plans. I'm going horizontal. I'm going to have to go someplace else in my life. I believe I'm going to start by, this is what happens when you're not prepared, guys. Okay, this is my roll-off sheet from that day. I love my roll-off sheets. Look how pretty this is. They're just gorgeous. So I think what I'm probably going to do, just to cover up this white, because I usually paint everything black, but I did not get organized enough to do that. So I think I'm just going to tear this thing up and put it down somehow. Slight change of plans in terms of how I'm going to start. There's a lot of just regular newsprint on this. And I think I would like to cover it with some stamps before I start gluing this down. So these stamps were out from my last session. These are out for a reason I don't know. They're just sitting out of their container. So I'm going to consider how they might contribute to my plan, my non-plan. I've got a tray. Actually, I like this tray because it's got some things that are just sort of geometric. This is one of my favorites. Let's start there. Okay, so I'm just going to, all I'm really going to do is just stamp a bunch of things on the background of this, so that this is what I use all the time. I've got other ink, but I never use it. So I've got that. Here, you don't fall over. You stay there. I'm going to play a little bit with these that I carved the other day. Let's see how it goes. I'm just going to pile this. So if you can see my head, excuse me. Okay, archival ink. My understanding, and I've done a lot of hand stamping, but I've only ever done it with black ink. So my understanding about the black ink is that it's permanent, and once it dries, it doesn't turn into smudge. And some of the others may be more smudgy. Okay, so some of you guys, not everybody, because half of the people that come to my channel are brand new. My history with hand carved stamps goes back to around 2014, 2017, when I was doing art licensing. And I was creating a line with no particular plan in mind. But you can see, I never knew what this was called. It's called Speedy Cut. A lot of people complain about Speedy Cut because they say it's too fragile and that it breaks, and that is a true story. But it doesn't do that if you take good care of it. It doesn't do any of that. It is absolutely butter to carve. It's thick enough to see, I can grab it by my hands. It's thick enough to not need a handle, not need to be mounted. Let's see, let me just do a little bit more of this and then I'll switch gears. All right, that's that. This is a repeating pattern. So you'll see what happens to this in a minute. And this is just a coaster that I like to use because sometimes it can give you a better impression and I don't have to work so hard using my hands. My hands are still pretty strong, but if yours are not, you might find, okay, watch what happens with this. You might find that using a little coaster can make it easy to get a good impression, because you do need to get the palm of your hand involved if you're going to get a good impression. So this was carved so that it can be a repeat. Sometimes I'll move this to different sections of the paper, of the stamp pad, just to get maybe it's wetter on one side. Okay. So the way that I usually run my videos is I have a tendency to work in real time unless something gets really repetitive, like me gluing. Sometimes my backgrounds, when I glue down my backgrounds, which I have a history of covering up almost completely, that I will have a tendency to move through quickly or cut a bunch of it out and fade into it already being glued down so that you don't die of boredom. So even this can become repetitive. Okay, so that's a fun little exercise. Okay, let's see what we're going to do with this. This requires something Hold on, I'm going to go see if I have anything bigger so this isn't taking all day. Try this one, which just barely fits on this stamp pad. I'll just do a couple of little runs of this. Once this is chopped up, it won't matter that this is repetitive. This pattern, I just am looking for something so that I can use this sheet and still have something that'll go off the end. Let's see how this works. So while I'm stamping, just a little bit about stamps, because I notice a fair amount of curiosity when I use them in my last couple of collages. So you don't need a lot of equipment to stamp carve. Speedy Cut, Speedball, I take that back, is a company that makes a lot of products for printing. And printing and stamping are similar, not the same, but similar. So they have a small carving tool that you can buy for relatively small money. And there's different kinds of rubber. For the longest time, really, you couldn't get any competitor's rubber except for Speedball. They had cornered the market. But if you go on Amazon now and try to buy this pink rubber, which is called, this is Speedy Cut. This pink stuff is called Speedy Carve. It is rubbery-er, and honestly, you can't kill it. You could throw this stuff in, in a bag without any protection, and it would be perfectly happy wherever you take it. This stuff, on the other hand, I even just want to show you. I can pick that right off with my finger. So it's fragile, but it's softer and easier to carve, which I really enjoy. And I think it looks much better on camera. I don't like this pink stuff. Okay, speaking of pink stuff, we're going to go with some pink stuff right now. I carved this the other day. So I have two friends of Cindy, two Cindy friends that I make art with. One lives a little further away and one lives right in my town. So while my further away Cindy was here the other day, she was making all kinds of gel prints, and I was revisiting my stamp carving skills, which after more than 10 years of really having done, they're pretty rusty. Pretty rusty. So there's any number of different flaws in my carving. But honestly, hand-carved stamps have such a distinctive look. It honestly doesn't even matter if they're done poorly. It just doesn't. Even if they're done poorly, they are awesome. They just have a very, very distinctive look. Everyone carves a certain way, and you end up with something that, and I say this a lot, something that looks like you, not something that looks like someone else, which I have been, people who are learning, and now that we have the internet and we have YouTube, we're all trying to figure out, we watch a lot of art, trying to figure out where do we fit into this world of art? Like, is our art good? Is it terrible? What is it that we're maybe not that good at, that would stand with some improvement? Okay, we're almost done with this project. So that means I can start chopping things up. Okay. So I've been hungry to have a artistic voice that looks like my own. I think I'm starting to carve it out. No pun intended. I do think I'm starting to develop a look that, you know, maybe is a little distinctive to me. And the only way I have done that, honestly, is being on YouTube with you guys. Constantly making art. Not all of it awesome. You guys have seen some of it. I'm just going to do, I got this little, I don't know, diamond-shaped thing. I'm just going to break up this expanse of white. Okay, that's done. So the next thing is to get that big, giant, long, skinny thing and figure out how I'm going to cover it. I don't know if I'm going to try to piece. You know what? We'll find out. You'll find out when I find out. Okay, you can tell I'm a little shy of this because I don't know. I don't have a plan. This is not easy to see. I'm going to just fit this to the front and I will figure out the overlap. All right, do that. Do a little bit of overlap. Oh, I'll just use this that I tore right off of that. Easier to glue down when it's not in a big giant sheet. It's going to put a layer on top of this. I'm used to working with the liquid, which means I do always put a layer on top. This is newsprint, guys, just so that you know. Newsprint is what they call not archival. What that means is that it starts to break down over a period of time. But I said this before, and I say it again. I am 70. I don't plan on staying around for as long as it's going to take for this artwork to fade into obscurity. And if by some miracle I become a famous artist, they will make efforts to preserve my art after I'm gone so that they can fight over it and pay millions of dollars. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go a little quiet for a while because I don't know that I need commentary while you watch me cover up this whole entire thing. And yeah, just watch me in silence. almost finished covering this up. And while I was being quiet, I was trying to contemplate a direction. I was having no, I was having no luck contemplating a direction. So, I'm just going to keep going until this is covered, which is not very much longer. And then I'm probably going to go, I don't know, sit in the sunshine for a minute and think about this, or who knows. Well, the problem with sitting in the sunshine is that I have no, I've got to look at this thing. I have to look at this thing to figure out what it wants. And by the way, when I was being quiet and I was using this spray bottle to spray my paper, it was kind of an experiment to see if I could get it to lay flatter or smoother or whatever, and I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer of whether it was a good idea or not. This was not part of the plan, but it can be. This is a dictionary page, which you can see. I don't think dictionary pages are archival either, so it's gone a little dark. But that doesn't bother me. Sure. Sure is what I say to myself when I'm getting ready to embark on a direction I'm not convinced is the right one. Like here, like sure, I'll just put it there. I'm always so impressed when I watch artists that say, oh, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do this, and then they actually do those things. I don't have that skill set. I've only got a few pieces of paper left. This is a background layer, sure E. Remember, it's a background layer, which means it's going to be covered up. And just, I don't know what it's going to be covered up with, but it's going to be covered up with something. I love these colors. I love these colors. You'll notice, don't be misled by thinking that just because I'm tearing these off and gluing them down, that I know they go there. I'm mostly just trying to cover up some white with some stuff that's white. So my last several videos have been inspired by artist Rex Ray and artist Mark Hearld, both of whom, yeah, it's been a long time since I've taken an English class. They both do collage. Sure. They do collage. They cut things out. They paint their own papers. They carve blocks. They do linocut, all of which I have played around with, except for the linocut. But I have to tell you, I bought supplies the other day. I've got 9 by 12 sheets of rubber that I'm getting ready to figure out how to carve. So the point that I'm trying to make by having that conversation is that I've been inspired by these very, very talented artists who have a very distinctive style, which I might be developing. I might have started to develop a look that looks like me, but they have definitely inspired me to try techniques that are very new for me. I've been doing collage, and I do abstract collage. but they've got me kind of putting like, you know, representational, which is a fancy word for things that look like things. They've got me doing that and actually enjoying it. But my birds, while you might be able to say, yeah, that's supposed to be a bird, it doesn't really. It doesn't look like a real life bird. It looks like a pretend bird, which is the most that I'm capable of doing. But when I finally figure out this lino cutting, which is stamp carving, possibly maybe a little bigger than stamp carving, in the sense that you can make an entire print, an entire picture from one of your carvings and print the same thing. So with gel printing, which you guys, if you've been around, you've seen me do my share of gel printing, which is essentially a mono print. You pull a print on a gel plate, and you get only that print and nothing else. Okay, this is covered. Okay, we are almost there, guys. I have almost covered my white, at least the front of my white canvas. I will deal with the back of my white canvas on another day. This is covered. I can see a couple of areas that aren't, but it'll do. I'm going to set this thing out in the sun for a couple of minutes and drink my coffee while I watch it dry. BRB. This thing is dry. I have contemplated it, and I still don't have a freaking clue about what I'm going to do. But I'm going to plow ahead. I've got some things here. This feels like more of the same, so I don't feel like I need that. It's my scrap sheet. Okay. This is from another session, but it's not wrong. Repeating pattern. I'll tell you what I'm thinking of doing. I hope you guys aren't getting tired of watching me do this same thing over and over again, but on my last at least 4 videos, I have done this thing where I have taken a piece of paper and I have cut arches into it. I don't even know which pieces go together. I have to do this for me, guys, so I'm taking you along for the ride. I have in front of me something that many of you, some of you, a couple of you have watched me do several times, which is to take a piece of paper and cut it into an arch, and then another arch, and then another arch, and then I end up doing this, and I get the most interesting breaking up of pattern. So I'm going to do that again at the risk of being repetitive, simply because the colors work with this colorway that I've created here, and I don't know where I'm going, so I'm trying to kill some time. So if you want to come along with me and kill some time, this is where I'm going next. I'm going to use these cutouts and start gluing them down and see what happens. I'm going to glue this thing down. I'll talk my way through it for a couple of minutes, and then I'll go quiet and let you listen to my brother play guitar, because where I'm going to go with this is fairly repetitive. What I like about this pattern, which I think I learned from Rex Ray, yeah, pretty sure. Rex, I didn't mean to abandon you for Mark Hearld, but You know, I'm on a mission. So this is what I like about this. You get little slices of things shining through, which I really enjoy, because I've got this large dark area on the bottom that I'd like to break up somehow. I'll tell you what I like about this thick glue. Is it done? Oh, this is photocopy paper. This is not newsprint. I lied. Oh, that's interesting. It's going to be busy. And I had, all right, just let me give you a little bit of insight into the mind of Sher-E. While I was out sitting in the sun, I thought I might have, yeah, I'm afraid to say it, I might have a structure, a house. Yeah, I'm afraid to say it because I just don't know. None of this lends itself to that. We'll see. We'll be surprised together, guys. Yep, this is photocopy paper, and photocopy paper is a little sturdier. It can take a little more pushing and pulling. It also gives you white background, which can give you a little bit of relief from the off-white. Now this is busier than I pictured in my mind while I was sitting in the sunshine. So I wonder, maybe somebody out there will know. I don't think that copy paper is considered archival, but I've never heard anyone say that it's not. You know, people use artists that are way more experienced and skilled than me use copy paper, and I've never heard anyone say, just so you know, copy paper is not archival. So maybe because it's supposed to be for documents, so I don't know. But somebody out there does. Come here, give me some wisdom, guys. Is photocopy paper considered archival? It won't stop me from using it because it's affordable. I have probably an entire ream that's only been printed on one side. Okay. See what this does? Creates these really interesting shapes. And this colorway is happy together. Okay, so this is wacko busy. And I would feel better about it if I knew where I was going with it. But I don't. So I'm going to break up this guys, I don't know what I'm doing. Here, follow me. Subscribe to me and learn how an artist who doesn't have an idea what she's doing does things. Okay, this is what I'm getting ready to do. This is just my cut-off sheet. I am going to cut arches into this. When in doubt, do something, even if you don't know what it is. Yeah, when in doubt. Okay, I'm doing it. I'm going to... Oh, yeah. Yeah, and you guys call me a teacher. It's very, very kind of you. But I don't feel like much of a teacher right now. All I knew was that it was almost 2 weeks since you've heard from me. And that's like having your boyfriend not call you for 2 weeks and not tell you what the hell's going on. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I don't even know how to talk you guys through this because I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm going silent. I'm giving you my brother. my brother's music, which is what I resort to when I need to focus. But it's pretty music. Go ahead and play for my friends, Rusty.
All right, this is a brand new song I just finished writing here. I'm going to try to get through it for you here. Here we go. Looked in the mirror, what did I see? Old man staring back at me with tired eyes. I remember when I was young, thought I could fly above the sun, watch me fly. World is my oyster, it's laden with pearls, won't you fly? I've told some tall stories, I've sang my own songs. We're just looking for some place to belong, to get by. Short road before us, a long one behind. You're afraid to see what you might find, you won't shine. World is your oyster, all laden with pearls, won't you shine? I felt love and I'm blessed with friends. If I could do it all over again, I would try. Done some good things, but I've done some bad. Taking for granted all the good things I have with blind eyes. World is my oyster, it's laden with pearls, watch me fly. Good Lord, how fast these years have passed. Pray many more before the last, before I die. Some memories get hazy, some fade away. Don't put off love if you can love today, go and fly. I'm sad I can't be what I used to be, but you'll be surprised with these old eyes see, that's why I fly. World is my oyster, it's laden with pearls, watch me fly. World is my oyster, all laden with pearls, watch me fly. All right, well there you go. That's a rough cut of the new one.
Okay, I would like to say a few things about what's happening here. I very much like how this plain paper has quieted down. Like this is crazy talk over here. I really like the way that these little black and white, black and beige things come out. Okay, this sat out in the sun. And I still feel the same way as I did about it before it sat out in the sun, which is, you spin this around, which is these quieter areas. These quieter areas are good. So what I've done, can you see this? Is this here? I've cut up a bunch of these arches, and I'm going to start here. I just really like that. Okay, I'm probably going to be quiet, because a lot of this is repetitious, and I'm going to want to edit it out. Okay, crazy corner right here. Let's see what we can do with it. Because it's crazy. That is down there too. You guys are still with me right now. You have stamina, because this has no clear end. This is like a work day when you go to work and you look at your clock and it's 8 o'clock in the morning, and 8 hours later you look at your clock and it's 20 past 8 in the morning, and you do not know how you are going to make it through the day. That's what we're doing now, guys. I think we've all had days like that. The day that never ends. Although I have to tell you, when I was self-employed, my days were always over. Oh, this is so much better. My days were always over before I knew it. And I always felt like I'd accomplished nothing. Probably if I used better quality paper, it might be more obedient. I'm going to have to prove myself to be a much more accomplished creator before I'm going to allow myself to buy real paper. So, one of the things, well, I'm going to do something while I contemplate. I'm actually going to sand this down. This is dry enough right now for me to sand. And I want to get off, what is this? Fine. There's just some bumps that when I try to glue over them, they're not awesome. So I'm sorry about the sound. I'll turn it way down. It just knocks the ridges off. So if you try to glue something down on top of it, which I plan to, it doesn't fight you. So I have that. Now I'm just going to wipe it down and get rid of the dust. Okay, so this next part I suspect is going to end up going pretty fast. I'm going to, for my last couple of pieces, I have created a border, which is a very common thing that Mark Hearld did with his pieces. I'm going to show you. This is the last piece that I made that has this frame around it. This was done in art schools in the 40s because it was expensive to frame, and this was a way for the students to finish their work off and then they could pin it to the wall without damaging the piece of art. So that's the second piece that I made that I think is a great deal of fun. And this is the first piece I made, but I have done a lot of work to it. It had gold all over the letter, all over here. It had a lot of gold on the bird. And I added these little flower buds because it was fairly flat. I needed some surprises. So the point that not to brag about my work, these borders I am fond of. And I'm going to do it again on this one. Where are all the scissors in your life, Cherie? Poor girl. Don't grow old, guys. It's a trap. Oh, wait a minute. Most of you are old. I see my analytics. I'll move this way for efficiency's sake. So I think I started to show you that if you don't have the strength in your hands, you can use this, which allows you to push down evenly and get a pretty nice, I'll use it for a while just so I can show you. I rarely screw up when I'm using this because it gives me a nice overall. It's just a coaster that I bought it. Who knows, Home Goods. That was a double. You can't hesitate. You have to just drop it. Drop it like it's hot. See how that's all mushed? It's minor though. So I said I was gonna fast forward, and here I am still talking. And I don't even remember what I was talking about. Just want to take a look at this. I hope I'm right. I think I am. I'm gonna glue these down. You'll notice that I keep switching back and forth between gel and liquid. I don't know why. A little bit of attention deficit, which I think is a totally made-up illness, so that they can medicate our children and make them sit still in class. Not a popular opinion, but I watched them hound me with my son. They wanted him to conform. They don't want out-of-the-box thinkers. They want everybody just to do what they're told and not talk. And he used to get notes on his report card, talks too much in class, which I used to get all the time too. I think that they've evolved since I was young because they no longer, I don't think, do they? Put your kids out in the hallway? Because I spent a lot of time in the hallway because I talk too much. I mean, you know, I still talk too much. According to some people, not enough, and according to other people, could you stop already? You know, now they're so afraid of hurting kids' feelings that they let them get away with everything. My son would be 32 years old this year. Actually, would have turned 32 on May 4th. May the 4th be with you. And the school systems have become unrecognizable since he was here. Hey, I think, guys, I think I'm done for the day. There's still enough day for me to go outside and sit in the sun, which I will enjoy. Tomorrow, I believe, I will have a better idea. I'm going to draw some more little thumbnails and see if I can't work out more details. So I'll see you. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm back in the studio, and I've been thinking about this thing a lot. So what I've got, this is approximately the middle of my canvas. So I've got the idea that I'm going to do these little flower vines wrapping around. Now I drew these out last night when I should have been sleeping, and they're a little bit too measured, but I've got this idea, like I mentioned, about some sort of a village and wrapping around it some kind of flowery thing. So before I turned on the camera this morning, I realized I didn't have nearly enough black paper to do what I want to do. So I painted some, and it's over there drying right now. All I've really got left is just a handful of small pieces, none of which are completely black. Okay. Little houses. This one's still pretty big, but you know, this is not supposed to be, this is not high art. This is what I have read is described as folk art, and I'm happy to be a folk artist right now. Folk art is, I don't think it's deliberately not perfect. I think it's not perfect because it is made by untrained artists, and I am such an untrained artist. Now I'm going to start with just some little flowery things. Okay. I like that little raggedy looking thing. Give me another triangular shaped thing that I can do that with. I saw these little shapes while I was laying in bed last night, and I was like, I know I already used them, but nobody, including our maker, ever said, I already made an oak tree. I'm not going to make another one. Something has to go here, something flower-esque, but I'll figure that out in a moment. Even this little tiny baby one will do the job. What I should like to have now are a bunch of relatively same-sized leaves. Okay. I said I got interviewed the other day for a new podcast that's coming out called Beyond the Brayer. The woman's name is Cindy. She said this is her fourth podcast, and she has figured out that there really aren't podcasts out there talking about gel printing, so why not have her be one? And I like that a lot. So it was about an hour long. You know, it was very conversational. She asked me questions, you know, about my gel printing journey and techniques and, you know, those kinds of things. And it was a very, very enjoyable conversation. We also got into, you know, the subject of loss, which, if you're alive on this planet, you are intimately familiar with loss. I really enjoyed it. So I think she said that it's going to be that she'll launch the podcast sometime in August. And I will let you know when I learn about the launch date. I usually use a sticky paintbrush to pick small pieces up. I am the sticky paintbrush. I'll play my brother's music for you so I can concentrate. This is a little bit of busy work. Think what's next. Do I carry those over and put birds fly? What do I do? I'm going to contemplate and drink some coffee. BRB. Okay, I'm back and I'm thoroughly caffeinated. And as you can see, well, it doesn't really show that well. I cut up a bunch of little baby flowers using not a very sharp hole punch, and then just chopping them up into little flower shapes. What I also did while I was sitting there caffeinating myself was I cut up some doors and windows. I think this needs this white versus any more natural. Yep, definitely. This is the apartment building, the one that they built in my hometown. I grew up on the border of Massachusetts, and the first time they built a condo complex in my town, we were like, what the hell? Who would want to live stacked on each other, on top of each other like that? Because New Hampshire is very different than Massachusetts. Okay, those are pretty wonky looking guys. But that's what we've got. And while I have my glue out and I feel like making something cute, let's put some flowers. A little cute flower there. I'm not being very thoughtful about this and I may regret it later, but there's much more work to be done. I'm nervous about the trees because these are fairly thick and I almost feel like I need to bring something down. I'm looking for my psychic message. I'm always reaching out to you guys for a psychic message. If you could send me one now, that would be great because nothing came of it while I was drinking coffee. Okay, I am not sure where to go. So I'm gonna go back to birds because there's no birds in this thing. So I drew this basic little bird and let's cut him out and see if I've got the scale right. So just as a thought for you guys trying to figure out when you're working on a piece, this is my new go-to thing when I'm not sure what to do. And I'm really not right now. Sometimes I go back to something I've done before, which takes a little bit of the pressure off. Let's cut this baby out. One bird goes there, and this bird's flying there. Here, let me cut off their tails. Two tails for the price of one. Okay, let's see. I got that. I had to take that into the bathroom and give it a little blow dry. Right this minute, I'm going to just take a small brush and touch up some areas that are not black, even though I detailed the death out of, oh, I overdid that. Oh, slow down, Cherie. I've got a PBO that can take care of that. Even though I detailed the death out of the first one, I ended up painting it all in because it was just too much competition. All of the pattern on the background, and there's quite a bit. It feels like I might need just a couple more. I don't know. Let me look at this thing. I know that when I first started this video, I started talking about a ladder and spirit beings and stuff. And now that I stand on my chair, I do see a rather large hole up there, but I'm not sure if that's what it needs. So that may be something that I add later down the line. I'm agonizing, guys. All right, no, I'm making myself stop. So one of the things that I do want to do, because this kind of feels, I don't know, sunshiny, maybe I could fill that in. All right, that's the idea. This is the last thing I'm going to do before I let this thing dry more completely, because it's very challenging to pen work over when it's not good and dry. And this is not the New Hampshire day for me to put it outside because it's been raining all day. And I just cut my lawn yesterday, so it'll need to be mowed again tomorrow now that we've finally got some rain. So normally what I have done with my work in the past was once I finished the video and I posted it, I really didn't do anything more to it. But I'm finding that the longer I live with the pieces, the more I recognize what it needs, which is typical for the art process. But because I'm doing it on camera, it has a tendency to just go a little bit faster. And even though I like it that my decisions are made quickly, I'm not agonizing over things. I'm going to go blow dry this and clean up my table. And then I'm going to come back and do some pen work on this, and we'll call it a day. Okay, it's pretty dry. I pulled out my favorite pens. I have to turn this around every single time, and I have to read it every time. Uniball Signo. I like the gold, I like the white, and I like the black. I've also pulled out some Posca pens, which I have in a bunch of different colors. So the way that I usually work with this, because it does go very slow, is I'm going to record quietly, let you listen to my brother play guitar, and I am going to speed through this, and I will come and have a little chat with you once I'm finished. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to call this. I'm going to go a little bit bigger. I can see just a small detail I missed here that I can take care of later. Okay, so I have to tell you, I was very nervous about this collage because I just did not know what was going to happen with it, but I'm kind of happy with what has happened with it. I think it's cute. While I'm talking to you, I'm going to do a little detail that I just noticed. Hold on. The side of this house has disappeared. And I've got the most crooked gold line, but whatever. And I remember when I was looking at that, I thought, that looks like a little pine tree. So I will start to bid my adieus, and I would like to thank you for coming and joining me on this piece of art, which was a long time in the making because my personal life has become a little out of control. But that's okay. I will retire from my position as president of my co-op in 1 year, and I will have my life back. So look at this cute thing we made together. And I always say made together because I don't make art unless unless I'm forced to. So my name is Cherie Burlington. I'm actually going to sign this piece because I think it's stinking cute. I'm going to sign it right here. My name is Cherie Burlington. I'm an artist, an errant, which is a troublemaker, a nonconformist, an angel mom, which means I have a child in spirit. I never did put my little spirit beings there. And an artist, and I would like to thank you for joining me on this little art venture, which came out really cute, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye.